let us explore the possibility that Apple's first foldable iPhone might break more easily than your current phone, but look way better doing it. That's the shocking reality we're facing with the upcoming iPhone Fold, and today we're going to break down exactly what Apple has sacrificed to make their foldable dream come true. We've got fresh leaks about the display technology, the Hinge design, and some surprising compromises that Apple has made to keep the price somewhat reasonable. By the end of this video, you'll know whether this first-generation foldable iPhone is worth your hard-earned money, or if you should wait for the next version. Let's dive into the details that Apple doesn't want you to focus on. So here's the thing about Apple and foldable phones. They've been sitting on the sidelines for years, while Samsung, Google, and other companies have been releasing foldable after foldable. Apple's reason was simple. They wanted to create a foldable phone with absolutely no display crease. Well, guess what? That goal turned out to be impossible with current technology. But Apple being Apple, they didn't just give up and copy what everyone else was doing. Instead, they decided to pour massive amounts of money into making the display crease as invisible as possible. And this is where our story of compromise begins. The new leaks reveal that Apple is using something called ultra-thin glass, or UTG for short, that measures less than 30 micrometers thick. To put that in perspective, a human hair is about 75 micrometers thick. So we're talking about glass that's thinner than half the width of your hair. This is actually thinner than what most competing foldable phones on the market right now use. Samsung, for example, used 30 micrometer ultra-thin glass before their Galaxy Z Fold 7, and they actually made it thicker for better durability in their latest model. Apple went the opposite direction. Why would they do this? Because thinner glass is more flexible, and more flexible glass can better hide those annoying dents that turn into permanent creases over time. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. Thinner glass is also much more fragile and way more likely to crack if you drop your phone or bump it against something hard. Apple is basically betting that you care more about how the phone looks than how well it survives daily life. And honestly, knowing Apple customers, they're probably right about that bet. The company is also reportedly using something called self-healing glass technology. This sounds like science fiction, but it's actually real technology that can help hide very minor scratches and stress marks that develop over time. However, don't expect miracles here. We're talking about tiny scratches, not major damage. If you drop this phone on concrete, no amount of self-healing is going to save you. Now let's talk about the hinge, because this is where Apple made some interesting cost-cutting decisions. Earlier leaks suggested that Apple would use a no-contact hinge system for their foldable iPhone. A no-contact hinge would mean less stress on the display when you fold and unfold the phone, which sounds great for durability. But it turns out those leaks were wrong. Apple decided against the no-contact hinge because it would have been too expensive to manufacture. Instead, they're going with a more traditional hinge design, but with some clever engineering tricks. The hinge will be made from 3D printed titanium, which sounds fancy and expensive. But here's where Apple cut costs. Instead of using expensive precision machining to make the hinge perfect, they're using filler material to smooth out irregularities. This filler helps eliminate tiny gaps and holes that could put extra stress on the display. It's actually a smart solution that saves money while still protecting the screen better than a rougher hinge would. All of these cost-cutting measures are aimed at one goal, keeping the price of the foldable iPhone from going completely crazy. And according to the latest leaks, it's working. The 256 gigs foldable iPhone is expected to cost around $2,200. Now I know what you're thinking. $2,200 is still an insane amount of money for a phone, and you're absolutely right. But in the world of foldable phones, $2,200 is actually pretty reasonable. Early reports suggested the foldable iPhone could cost $2,500 or more, so this is actually better than expected. For comparison, Samsung's Z Tri-Fold sold out within minutes of launch, despite its high price tag. If people are willing to pay premium prices for Samsung's foldable phones, they'll definitely line up for Apple's version. Let's talk about what this phone might actually look like and what features it could have. Recent leaks from a source called Instant Digital showed some alleged renders of the iPhone Fold. These images suggest the phone will have a 7.8-inch inner display when unfolded and a 5.5-inch outer display when folded. The phone is expected to be 9.5 millimeters thick when unfolded and 4.5 millimeters thick when folded. That's actually impressively thin for a foldable device. One interesting design choice is the button placement. Instead of putting the volume buttons on the left side like current iPhones, they'll be on the top of the right side frame. This is similar to how the iPad mini is designed, but it might take some getting used to for iPhone users. The camera setup is also different from current iPhones. The leak suggests a horizontal arrangement with dual rear cameras, a microphone, and a flash all lined up in a row. The camera module appears to be black regardless of the phone's body color, which is a departure from Apple's usual design approach. Speaking of colors, only white has been confirmed so far, but Apple will likely offer at least 2 color options at launch. Under the hood, the iPhone Fold is expected to run on Apple's A20 processor, which should provide plenty of power for running multiple apps side by side. And yes, you'll be able to run multiple apps simultaneously when the phone is unfolded, similar to how multitasking works on iPads. However, the phone will run iOS, not iPadOS, so don't expect the full iPad experience. The battery is rumored to be at least 5,088 milliamps, which would make it the largest battery ever put in an iPhone. That makes sense because you're essentially powering 2 displays and a much larger device overall. For security, the phone is expected to use Touch ID rather than Face ID, probably because implementing Face ID on a foldable form factor is more complicated. Now, here's my honest opinion about all of this. While I think the foldable iPhone is going to be a technological marvel, I don't think you should buy it. At least not this first generation. First-generation Apple products are always expensive and often have issues that get fixed in later versions. Remember the first iPhone? No App Store, no 3G, and a ton of limitations. The first iPad? Heavy, limited functionality, and expensive. Apple's first Apple Watch? Slow, confusing, and quickly replaced by much better versions. The pattern is clear. Apple's first attempt at any new product category is usually more about proving the concept than creating the perfect device. But here's what I think will happen anyway. The foldable iPhone is going to sell like crazy. Apple has a loyal customer base that buys whatever the company releases, regardless of price or first-generation limitations. If Samsung's Galaxy Z Trifold can sell out in minutes, Apple's foldable will probably break sales records. Apple's decision to keep the price relatively reasonable, at least by foldable phone standards, will probably help them grab market share from other companies in the foldable space. Plus, Apple's marketing machine is going to convince millions of people that they absolutely need a foldable phone, even if they've been perfectly happy with regular phones for years. The combination of Apple's brand power, the novelty of a foldable iPhone, and the relatively reasonable price point is going to create a perfect storm for massive sales. But that doesn't mean you should be one of those buyers. The smart move is to wait and see how this first generation performs in the real world. Let other people deal with the potential durability issues, software bugs, and inevitable design problems that come with any first-generation product. By the time Apple releases the second or third generation of their foldable iPhone, they'll have worked out most of the kinks and probably improved the durability significantly. So there you have it. Apple's foldable iPhone is all about compromises. Better looks but worse durability, advanced technology but first-generation problems, and a relatively reasonable price that's still way more than most people want to spend on a phone. What do you think about Apple's approach to their first foldable phone? Are you willing to pay over $2,000 for a device that might be more fragile than your current iPhone? Let me know in the comments below whether you're planning to buy the foldable iPhone or wait for future generations. If this video helped you understand the trade-offs Apple is making with their foldable phone, hit that like button and subscribe for more tech analysis. And remember, just because everyone else is buying the latest gadget doesn't mean you have to. Sometimes the smartest move is to wait and let others test the waters first. I will see you in the next video. Peace out.